Hello you guys, this is the headphoneaddict.com and today I'm revisiting the Violectric V200, or should I say Violectric HPA for headphone amplifier V200. So the Violectric HPA V200 is the subject of our video. Now, what I want to talk about today is the modular DAC card that I recently installed in this. The Violectric HPA V200 comes with an option of having a DAC card installed. So I basically did that, and I'm going to talk about the DAC card in isolation. So if you want to see a review of the unit and the headphone amplifier in and of itself, please click the annotation that I'll put up here right now to see the audio quality of the headphone amplifier itself and not the DAC card, or the quality of the DAC card, should I say. So let's flip this baby around and have a look at the rear. So here you can see the rear of the HPA V200 from Violectric, and as you can see here at the top you have a digital input. In my case it's a SPDIF coaxial digital input, but you can also get, but instead of and not in addition to, you can get optical, which is light driven, you can get USB, and you can get this one which I've got, the digital input through SPDIF. So how does it work? It's not got any input selector, so basically this works as a priority kind of thing, where the digital input has first priority, the RCA analog inputs has second priority, and thirdly the XLR inputs have third priority. So if you've got something connected up to the digital inputs, these inputs will be disabled. Now, in my case, I had a bit of a trouble by having this connected up to my computer via a Asus Exonar Essence ST sound card, which also has a digital output through SPDIF. I had connected this to the Asus Exonar Essence ST, and even though I disabled it in Windows properties, it still wouldn't switch over to the analog output, so I had to actually go ahead and physically detach the digital input from the device in order for it to prioritize the analog inputs. So that's not so good. I would have hoped that if there was no signal feeding into this PDIF, that it would automatically switch over to the analog inputs. However, I have been talking to people who have USB DAC card installed, and the DAC card there, if you disable it in Windows or don't send any sound to it, it will actually flip over to the analog inputs. So not sure if that's a fault with my card or anything, but that's my experience with it. So let's talk about the sound quality of the DAC card. And I'll just flip it around so you'll have something pretty to look at, which is the front plate of the Violectric HPA V200. So there we go. Beautiful little amplifier. Now, the sound quality, how is it? Well, the DAC card that I've installed in this is the old DAC cards, which are only 96 kilohertz and 24 bits. Now, Violectric has also come up with 192 and 24 bit, so there's a new option in town now, but it's a bit more pricey than the 96 24-bit cards. So you want to take that into consideration. And also, I think that a separate digital to analog converter is better, as you will learn going forward. Now, about the sound quality, it's hard to describe sound without having anything to compare it with. So that's where my Lavry DA11 comes in handy. So let me get that up on here. Okay, you guys, so now let's talk about the sound quality of the DAC card in the V200 in comparison and in relation to the DAC in the Lavry Engineering DA11. First things first though, the Violectric V200 is primarily a headphone amplifier but also has the modular DAC card, whereas the Lavry Engineering DA11 is primarily a DAC but also has a headphone amplifier. So both of them has the same features, DAC in headphone amplifier, DAC in headphone amplifier. However, the headphone amplifier in the V200 far outperforms that of the Lavry Engineering DA11. On the other side, the DA11's DAC far outperforms that of the DAC card in the V200. So there's really no way around the fact that if you want to have the maximum performance out of your V200, you probably want to look into a separate digital to analog converter. And Violectric has a great offering, which is the Violectric V800, which gets very good reviews around the web. I have unfortunately not heard it myself, but I would very much like to. It supports up to 192 24-bit, and but unfortunately there's no DSD capability. So back to these two units. How do they sound comparatively? The DAC cards, that is. If you want to check out the my review of the headphone amplifier in the V200, go and click this annotation and have a look. It's really excellent. One of my favorite headphone amplifiers, actually. So back to the DAC card. The DAC card in the V200 is sort of not as detailed as the Lavry Engineering DA11. I would compare it to something like this. When you're listening to the DAC card in the V200, this is the sort of detailed retrieval you'll get. Whereas with the Lavry Engineering, this is sort of what you'll get. So that's basically how I would rate the two in comparison with respect to detailed retrieval. Also, the frequency extension on the DAC card here doesn't seem quite as broad as with the Lavry Engineering DA11. It sort of sounds a little bit flat and boring, whereas with the DA11 everything has more sparkle, and the bass extension also seems better. Furthermore, there's a very well known criticism of the V200, and that's the fact that the soundstage isn't that expansive. However, with the Lavry Engineering DA11 you got this crossfeed function which can basically widen the soundstage. So the soundstage with the DAC card is narrower, whereas with the Lavry Engineering DA11 you also have the feature of the crossfeed, so you'll get a much wider soundstage that way. Also, in the minimum position or the normal position of the crossfeed function, the soundstage of the DA11 is better, and the instrument separation is also better. There is also a feeling of more air around each instrument or each vocal or each sound in the recordings you're listening to. So it's basically a better performer than the DAC card inside of this. And that can be, the reason for that can be the fact that the Violectric V200 DAC card shares its power supply with the headphone amplifier. I'm not sure. So basically, I want to end this review by saying that if you want or do have the Violectric V200 with the DAC card, you probably want to look into a separate DAC. However, for normal day-to-day use, no critical listening, and if you just want one concise unit to bring with you on your holidays or something like that, the DAC card is good enough for normal listening. But if you really want high fidelity, I recommend you getting a separate digital to analog converter. That be the V800. You should probably look into the Lavry DA11, which is cheap in the second-hand market. You can look into the Mytek 192 stereo DSD DAC, which is awesome, and you can look into the Grace Design M903, which is pretty good. or should I say it's very good. So there's a lot of alternatives, and more are coming. But be sure to check out some of my DAC reviews if you're interested in a DAC, because if you're aiming for neutral, what you basically want to do is look at neutral devices, but also take into consideration what kind of features you want. So, well guys, before I swallow my tongue here, I just want to say thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, as there is a lot of things coming. Please like if you enjoy my video, and well, just have a nice day. Okay guys, goodbye.